function, operation, and description of voyage data recorder. Passenger ships and ships other than passenger ships of 3,000 gross tonnage and upward constructed on or after July 1, 2002 must carry voyage data recorders to assist in accident investigations under regulations adopted in 2000, which entered into force on July 1, 2002. The IMO defines the voyage data recorder as complete system, including any items required to interface with the sources of input signals, their processing and encoding, the final recording medium, the playback equipment, the power supply, and dedicated reserve power source. They state that the VDR must continually manage sequential capsule and protective capsule should be brightly and equipped with a proper device to aid location. It must be completely automatic in general operation. Voyage data recorder is a crucial instrument among the navigation equipment list which is installed on ship to continuously record vital information related to operation of a vessel. It contains a voice recording system for a period of at least the last 12 hours. This recording is recovered and made use for investigation and events of accidents. The importance of VDR is similar to a black box installed on airplane. VDR allows accident investigators to check procedures as well as instructions in the moments prior to an accident and assist in identifying the causes of any accidents, and VDR must needed to meet certain performance standards.
The primary purpose of a voyage data recorder, or a VDR, or a simplified voyage data recorder, or an SVDR, is to maintain a store of information in a secure and reliable form concerning the position, movement, physical status, command and control of a vessel over period loading up to the following incident. The VDR is contained within a tamper-proof protective storage unit that is reinforced to withstand extreme impact pressure, heat, and other conditions that could be encountered during a maritime incident. The VDR can be classified to contain following units: a data recording unit, or DCU, that is fitted on the bridge that pulls data from all the integrated sources, and a data recording unit, or DRU. The final recording medium should consist the following items: it is fixed recording medium, float-free recording medium, and long-term recording medium. With a fixed recording medium, it should be installed in a fixed protective capsule which should meet all the following requirements. It should be capable of being accessed following an incident, but secure against a physical or electronically manipulated change or deletion of recorded data. It should be maintained the recorded data for a period of at least 2 years following termination of recording. It should maximize the probability of survival against fire, shock, penetration, and deep sea pressure, and recovery of the final recorded data after any incident. Should be a highly visible color and marked with retroreflective materials, and should be fitted with an appropriate device to aid location underwater.
Float-free recording medium. The float-free recording medium should be installed in a float-free capsule which should meet all the following requirements: be fitted with means to facilitate grappling and recovery,
Maintain the recorded data for a period of at least 6 months following termination of recording. Be so constructed as to comply with the requirements specified in Resolution A.81019 and to minimize risk of damage during recovery operations. Be capable of transmitting an initial locating signal and further locating homing signal for at least 48 hours over a period of not less than 7 days or 168 hours. And last is be capable of being accessed following an incident but secure against a physical or electronically manipulated change or deletion of recorded data. Long-term recording medium. The long-term recording medium should be capable of access from an internal, easily accessible area of the ship and provide access to the data held on it but be secured against a physical or electronically manipulated change or deletion of recorded data. The equipment should be so designated that as far as is practical, it is not possible to manipulate the amount of data being recorded by the VDR, the data itself, nor the data which has already been recorded. Any attempt to interfere with the integrity of the data or the recording should be recorded. The recording method should be such that each item of the recorded data is checked for integrity and an alarm given if a non-correctable error is detected. The VDR should be capable of operating from the ship's main and emergency source of electrical power. If the ship's source or electrical power supply fails, the VDR should continue to record bridge audio from the dedicated reserve power source for a period of 2 hours. At the end of this 2-hour period, all recording should cease automatically. Recording should be continuous unless terminated in accordance requirements. The time for which all stored data items are retained should be at least 30 days or 720 hours on the long-term recording medium and at least 48 hours on the fixed and float-free recording media. Data items which are older than this may be overwritten with new data.
Date and time. Date and time, reference to UTC, should be obtained from a source external to the ship, and internal clock should be synchronized with valid date and time data. During time of a loss of the external source, the internal clock should be used. The recording should indicate which source is in use. The recording method should be such that the timing of all other recorded data items can be derived on playback with a resolution and continuity sufficient to reconstruct the history of the incident in detail. Ship's position, latitude and longitude, and the datum used should be derived from an electronic position fixing system. The recording should be ensured that the identity and status of the FPFC can always be determined on a playback. Speed. Speed through the water and speed over the ground, including an indication of which it is derived from the ship's speed and distance measuring equipment as required by SOLAS regulations. Heading. Heading as indicated by the ship's heading source. Bridge audio. Microphone should be positioned on the bridge covering all workstation as described in MSC CIRC 982, so that conversation is recorded. The recording should be such that on playback, a normal speaking voice should provided adequate intelligibility while the ship is performing its normal operation. This performance should be maintained at all workstations while there is a single audio alarm. anywhere on the bridge or any noise, including noise from faculty equipment or mounting or wind. This should be achieved through the use of at least 2 channels of audio recording. Microphone positioned outside on bridge wings should be recorded on at least one additional separate channel. Communication audio. VHF. Communications relating to the ship operation should be recorded on an additional separate channel. Radar. The electronic signal of the main display of both ships' radar installation as required by SOLAS regulation. The recording method should be such that on playback it is possible to present a faithful replica of the entire radar display that was on view at the time of recording, albeit within the limitations of any bandwidth compression techniques that are essential to the working of the VDR. ECDIS. Where a vessel is fitted with an ECDIS installation, the VDR should record the electronic signal to the ECDIS display in use at the time as primary means of navigation. The recording method should be such that on playback it is possible to present a faithful replica of the entire ECDIS display that was on view at the time of recording, albeit within the limitation of bandwidth compression techniques that are essential to the working of VDR, and in addition, the source of the chart data and the version used.
Echo sounder. The deep information. This should include, where available, deep under keel, the deep scale currently being displayed, and other status information. Main alarms. This should include the status of all mandatory alarms on the bridge or as received from the bridge alert management system, if installed, recorded as individually identified alarms. Rather, order and response. This should include status and settings of healing or track controller, if fitted, and indicate the control station, mode, and power units in use. Engine and thruster order and response. This should include the position of any engine telegraphs or direct engine propeller, controls, and feedback indication on the bridge. If fitted, including ahead astern indicators and indicate the control station in use. This should also include any thruster if fitted and indicate the control station in use. Hull opening status. This should include all mandatory status information required to be displayed on the bridge. Watertight and fire door status. This should include all mandatory status information required to be displayed on the bridge. Acceleration and hull stresses. Where a ship is fitted with hull stress and response monitoring equipment, all the data items that have been pre-selected within that equipment should be recorded. Wind speed and direction. Where a ship is fitted with suitable sensor, wind speed and direction should be recorded, including its true or relative status. AIS. All AIS data should be recorded. Rolling motion. The VDR should be connected to an electric inclinometer if installed. The recording method should be such that the rolling motion can be reconstructed during playback. Configuration data. In addition to the data items, a data block defining the configuration of the VDR and the sensor to which it is connected should be written into the final recording medium during commission of the VDR. The data block should be maintained up to date and version number of a sensor, the identification and location of the sensor, and interpretation of the sensor data. This configuration data should be permanently retained in the final recording media and protected from modification and other done by a duly authorized person following any change to the configuration. Electronic logbook. Where a ship is fitted with an electronic logbook in accordance with the standards of the organization, the information from this should be recorded.